Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Talking Money with Pete. In these videos, I use a lot of pictures and analogies to help me go through and explain some general financial concepts. And so today, we're going to be going through and talking about what's your financial plan? Do you have one? Do you have a 5-year or a 10-year, or what should one look like? Let's go through and get stuck in. Okay, so today we're going through and talking about what is your retirement plan? Do you have one? Should you have one? All that sort of general stuff. So a lot of people, when they come to us, they say, should I have a retirement plan, or when should I start planning? And we just did a last video about when should you start planning, so you can go up and click on the link above. But in terms of most people, when you're going through and you're working in your life, so most people that work get paid a wage. So this is you down here. And maybe two of you or something like that. But most people in Australia that are working, they pay a portion of tax. And they also have their employer put money into super, which is a forced savings for retirement. And so employer puts money into super. Now for the average commercial enterprise, that's 9.5% of their wage. Different governments, different employers do all sorts of different amounts there. We've done some other videos on that, so you can go through and have a look. But for the general concept of today, you get paid a wage and some money gets put into this thing called super, which is basically a bubble, which is a forced savings for retirement. And we're going to stick really general today and just talk about the different asset classes. I know there's technically a fair few asset classes, but we're going to stick to the real basic ones of shares, property, and then it's kind of cash that sits in the middle as well. It could be all sorts of different gold and all sorts of bits and pieces, heaps of different types of shares, heaps of different types of property, whether it's commercial or residential, but we won't really get stuck into that. But most people inside super, the average fund, average super fund, mainly just has shares. They might buy shares in companies that own some property, and they may have a managed fund that has some portion of cash in it. But most people have a managed fund that's managed for them. They don't really have a lot to do with it. They don't really start thinking about it till they get to 40 or 50 or 60. And so the idea is that when you go through and you start getting to retirement, so eventually this wage is going to stop. And so there's the government pension that may or may not come in depending on when you retire and all those sorts of bits and pieces. And but most people will start going through and pulling a bit of wage, let's do it in blue, from their super. So you may have your own savings outside in your own name. That's my Scrooge McDuck pile of coins. And so you may also have your own home. So we'll draw it nice, a little chimney, nice little driveway, door, maybe some windows. And so you might have your own home as well. And so you might use some of these to go through and pay off your home if you haven't got it, or you might use it to purchase a home. Once you get into retirement, you might not have a home by that stage. And so essentially what I was going to go through and talk about was a little bit about what are some of the options and what do most people do. So if you're on track for it and you've never really thought about it, once you stop getting paid a wage, you stop working for money, then you've got some super. You should have some super. And so by that stage, what you've been putting aside for, then you go through, creates a little bit of a gap in the bubble, and you can start pulling a bit of a wage down into your own cash. So there's all sorts of different pension accounts and those sorts of things, which are essentially little ways of going through and having coins, so having some cash, so it's a little bit more conservative. And when that gets a bit low, you might go through and you might sell into that and have some cash down here. And when you run out of that, you draw some more through it. And think of it as like the little stages of waterfalls as they kind of go through. And so there's all sorts of other options. So inside your super, you can also have property as well. So shares, cash, you can also have property inside there as well. There are ways that you can go through and buy direct residential property. That's through things like self-managed super funds or stuff like that. Go seek your own financial advice about it. We've got a fantastic team that can go through and help you with that. But I'm just saying there's all sorts of things you can buy in super. Super is fantastic. It's basically just a name that's owned by the ATO. We've done a video on it previously on what it is. So you can go through and watch that. That'll be up there. But you can buy classic cars if they're going to increase in value. You can't get access to it till you reach retirement, but you can buy that stuff in there. But outside, you can go through, you can have investment properties outside, and you can also have shares in your own name as well. And so you can go through and have them that go through and pay you to top that up as well, or in really bad times, so when shares are down, you can go through, you can sell an investment property and use the proceeds of that to go through and pay you as well. So you've got lots of different options of what you can go through and do, but in terms of most people's general strategy, this and this aside, if you don't have a plan, I'm a planner, I like to plan, so it's probably good to go through and have a plan. But if you don't, once you stop working, there's a thing called super, and there's also a big question mark of what might come through in the form of government pension if you're eligible to it. So I hope that goes through and explains a little bit of what some of the options are if you don't have a plan already. Hey guys, hope you found that video interesting. We've got a fantastic team that can go through and help you with all of this sort of stuff all the way through from financial planning. We've got some fantastic financial advisors that can help you with shares, like the securitized investment side of things. We've got some fantastic real estate agents and real estate gurus that can help you with that side of things. Or just in general, what should you be looking at? What should you be doing? We can go through and help you with that too. Don't forget to go through and comment for topics that you specifically want to go through and learn about. And otherwise, we'll go through and see you in future videos. Bye.